Welcome to the Bucher and Friends podcast, co-starring 10-year NFL veteran and Super Bowl champion, Will Blackman.
Manning from the end zone. He throws, and a deflect away, and it is picked off by Will Blackman, the former Giant.
Tim Dwight watches it hit, bounces, picks it up at the 10, slips a defender, fumbles the football, it's up for grabs. It's covered in the end zone by Will Blackman for a Green Bay touchdown.
And now, here is your host,
Let's send it over to Rick Bucher.
Rick Bucher.
Welcome to another episode of Bucher and Blackman, subsidiary of Bucher and Friends on the United WeCast Network. I'm Rick Bucher. He is Super Bowl champ Will Blackman. You can catch him on NFL Game Day Live Sundays on NFL Network and on Twitter at Will Blackman, or you've been able to do that up until now. I don't know what his schedule is playoff-wise. We'll find out. You can read my stuff on Bleacher Report and at Rick Bucher on Twitter, and you can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Bucher Friends. All right, so I'm always excited to do the podcast with you, but I am particularly excited to do this podcast because we are doing it following the college football championship between Clemson and Alabama, and Clemson put a hurtin' on Alabama. And I have so many questions because I feel as if, number one, the reason that I'm excited is because I feel as if DBs and wide receivers had a big influence on this game. Quarterbacks, obviously, but the DB and the wide receiver play was just so monumental for Clemson in large part that having you as an expert at both positions, you're the perfect person to talk to about this game. So let me just start there. Like when you first saw Clemson get the pick six and go up 7-0 right off the bat, as a big fan of Tua, what were you thinking?
You know what? As dominant and as successful as Nick Saban and his Alabama Crimson Tide has been, I actually had to talk to my son about this. I said, for every person who is really good and great, there is always one person that has your number. So
true.
And for Nick Saban, it's Dabo.
Yeah. There's always I've told my kids the same thing. When there's somebody, if it's a teammate, it's a classmate, it's somebody that they're always talking. This person gets under my nerves, and on my nerves.
Someone's exactly. There's someone that figured you out.
Yes, and I said, you know what? There's always going to be one in your life, no matter where you are,
right?
No matter what you do, there's always going to be that one. So get used to it now. Don't think that you're cursed or that somehow you can erase this one and you'll never have one again. There's always going to be one. Now, do you think that it's a matter of, I was sort of talking about people that annoy you, or not necessarily that, as you said, have your number. Like, do you think that Nick Saban really resents that Dabo just kind of knows how to unwind Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide?
Of course. I'm sure when Clemson beat Notre Dame and entered this championship game, I'm sure something rattled Nick Saban a little bit, like, here we go again. I got to deal with these guys. No question about it.
Yeah.
So that's basically what it came down to. Despite, the defense, everybody playing well in Clemson, they're not worried about Alabama. They know they can beat Alabama. There is nothing invincible about Alabama to them.
But you weren't predicting that Clemson was going to win. I hoped Clemson would win, but I didn't have any reason to believe that they were better than Alabama. But they were not only better, I mean, they dominated this game from beginning to end. It was Alabama couldn't breathe. They never got anything going.
Yeah, it's not that I couldn't see Clemson winning. I never saw Clemson winning like this. I did pick Bama to win this game, but I did not see Clemson winning like this. I mean, whooped them in every single phase of the game. Explosive plays and turnovers. Those are the things that you don't see against Bama.
What was it that Clemson was doing defensively that made the game so hard for Tua? Because I don't remember a whole lot of plays that he missed. Like when we talked the other day about Deshaun Watson, there were opportunities there where he didn't complete the pass.
Right.
I didn't get the sense that Tua had a lot of guys open and that it was a matter of he missed throws or he missed open guys. It was Clemson smothered them one way or the other. And honestly, I felt as if Clemson knew Alabama's playbook. Every time there was a meaningful play, they not only stopped it, but they were ahead of it. Like they completely sussed it out.
But it's interesting because right after the pick six, Tua came out and threw a deep bomb for a touchdown pass, which was incredible. But after that, they corrected whatever was going on. Clemson just looked so prepared. I feel like every single player knew exactly what they were going to do in that game plan. Everyone understood what was going on, and everyone just looked extremely prepared. Just looking at like pad level, looking at the effort, looking at everything across the board. I feel like they came into this game like, you know what, let's not just beat Alabama, let's blow them out. And they felt like they could. That's what it looked like. Tua was his reaction to the pick six, which was like, no big deal. I got this, right? And then he comes back and he throws the bomb, and he had that. I mean, he looked completely unflustered, even if that's a word. I had to think about that.
Yeah. The shovel pass at the goal line, which wasn't there, and
that
they
was
got
trash.
Stoned. Yeah, and they got stoned. Again, I never got the sense that his confidence was dented. And then the sack and the fumble, they recovered, but he never saw it until the last second. I almost got the sense, in a way, if it's possible, that Tua looked too confident. He looked too like nothing can get to me, instead of, wow, Clemson's dialing up a little bit faster than maybe I thought. He was almost a little too smooth to me. For
By the way, unflustered is the word, so you're good.
Whew. Every once in a while, I know what I want to say, and I feel that having taken Latin for 3 years, that I can put fragments together and they make sense, but they haven't necessarily been authorized as official words. So I'm glad that I passed muster on this one.
Yeah, I don't want to say Tua was too confident.
But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I never got a sense of urgency from him.
I don't think they could have, because of the urgency from Clemson.
Yeah,
it was just an overall beatdown, and there was nothing Alabama could do about it. That's just what it was from start to finish. Every single phase of the game, start off the game with a beating and end the game with a beating, and that's just what it was.
Tell me how good you thought Clemson's number 8 was.
Oh my, yeah, him, Lawrence, Etienne, just everybody. It's just because number 8 was a freshman, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I meant to look up his
Justin Ross.
Yes.
Him and Trevor Lawrence, they're freshmen, and that's just
crazy.
It's funny. I just had this conversation with I forget who it was today, because I was training some defensive backs, and I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. It's all about the mindset. For example, I was talking to these these soon-to-be rookie defensive backs, and it's like you can win and lose. Sometimes you can win and lose a game just by showing up. Like, okay, say we're playing Odell this week. Mm-hmm. In most cases, Odell's already won the battle because of who he is.
Mm-hmm. You said that. You mentioned that in the last podcast. I think that's especially true at the collegiate level too.
Well, I would say more so in the NFL, because you see it all the time. You see it on the billboards. You see all the highlights. You see all the status. You see the money. Like, okay, this guy won before they even showed up. But if you have like the right mindset, it doesn't even matter. All you need is certain confidence. I look at someone like Victor Cruz, undrafted out of UMass, got his chance on the Giants preseason, played really well that one preseason game against the Jets, and then kept getting more confidence. All of a sudden, he took off in 2011. Just took off because he's like, wait a minute, like, I can do this.
Yeah. Well, I guess from a team perspective, I feel like momentum and confidence has a greater influence at the collegiate level. Like, when a team is feeling good, it's really hard to slow that momentum. As pros, there's a greater mental toughness or resilience to, okay, somebody comes out hot, let's just stay the course, let's trust ourselves, we can get back into this.
I meant more so individually, like Justin Ross. Like, why is he so dominant and playing well as a true freshman? Well, to him, he doesn't care who's in front of him.
Yeah,
it does not matter, and that's why he was able to do what he did. Not to mention, you have a quarterback like Trevor. And actually, some of those passes weren't good passes. He just made unreal catches.
Yes. Well, and Trevor was throwing with a tremendous amount of confidence too. There was a little swing pass they had, and it was a linebacker or the lineman was right there, and I'm going to throw it anyway. The guy got a hand on it, popped up in the air, and they ended up completing the pass. But I thought, that's gutsy. He sees the guy right in front of him, and he's saying, nah, you know what? I think I can float this over this guy.
Stand and deliver. The pocket passer lives on. Stand and deliver.
Yeah. So assess how good you think Trevor Lawrence is.
I mean, he could be like the next Peyton Manning, dude. This dude is good. He's good.
And he can move. Like he's Peyton Manning with wheels. Well, not super wheels, but he's mobile. He's
good. He's unbelievable. Right now, he's already good. Right now, if he came out right now, he'd be number one pick.
And would that be a wise move by him?
He can't come out right now.
I know. I understand that. But I mean, let's say he could. I understand the age limit and all that, but let's say he could. I'm just from an age standpoint, because normally I look at it and I go, there's a good reason. I'm all for guys going to the NBA straight out of high school. If you're physically capable of handling it, we can talk about the mental aspect, but you should have the right to do it. Football, for the most part, I feel as if it's self-preservation. You shouldn't have guys going straight from high school because physically I'm not sure that they're up to the demand of playing in the NFL. But Trevor Lawrence gives me pause because of the position and his ability to read and react. I feel as if he might be able to cut it.
That I don't know because, one, yes, physically he is not completely mature enough for the NFL, and it's a whole different ball game up there. When he does get hit, it is going to be a different hit.
Yeah.
By
the way, they ran him at the end of that was a little odd.
But it worked because
I
they
know,
were waiting
but
for
still.
something else. I know.
That seemed a little much. That really sort of gave me pause. The other thing with Clemson, let me ask you this. They play best of 3. Do we see anything different? If Alabama gets another crack at them, how much of a difference does it make?
I think it only helps Clemson.
I think they'd be even better.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that really...
The score may not be as crazy, but they win again.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And I look at the talent on the other side of the ball. I hate to say it, but everything points to Dabo just out-coached Saban, like up and down. Had everything, knew exactly what they needed to do, whatever film work they did. I mean, those goal line stands, they were in the right place every time. They didn't just stop the play. They threw plays for losses.
It reminds me of, I was watching America's Game, the 94 49ers. And Steve Young, he was talking about the rivalry with the Cowboys back then. And he was talking about the whole season. He said, we both know what it is. The Niners and the Cowboys, they know it's just us two. It doesn't matter about any other team in the NFL. We know it's going to come down to us two.
Right.
And that's what is going to happen. That's what happened in the 90s. And I think that's basically what it was with Clemson and Alabama. And Dabo knew it was going to come down to them and Bama.
Yeah.
So we're just going to worry about Alabama.
Yeah.
And he got him figured out. It's so interesting when the bully gets hit in the mouth and you're like, damn, dude, this guy bleeds.
Mm-hmm.
This guy he's thinking about us now. Mm-hmm. He's not worried about it, and that's what was cool about it. That's what's cool is you saw Alabama's will get taken, and you never thought you'd see that.
Yeah, that was it. It was it. I mean, that game really felt like it was over at halftime, which is amazing to say against a team as potent as Alabama. All right, so any thoughts about going to Jalen Hurts in the fourth quarter?
Oh, the game was over.
Yeah.
Game was over. Game was long gone. There was nothing Jalen could have done.
No.
Jalen needs to come to Boston College, by the way. Might as well. Might as well.
For those who may not know, and you should know, Will is recruiting for his alma mater. right now. Okay.
Might as well. We run the ball a lot. We like running quarterbacks. We are a run-first team. We fit right along with his skill set.
Jalen, that's at Will Blackmon, BLACKMON. Hit him up on Twitter. We'll make this happen.
And if you go to a different conference, you don't have to wait, right?
I believe that's correct.
Come to Boston College and get your own crack at Clemson by yourself.
Oh, there you go. I don't know if you want that. I don't think that's the sales pitch that you want to throw at him. But who knows? Maybe Jalen would rise to the bait. All right. Well, also want to get to, since this is going to be the last podcast that you and I do before next week's Divisional Championship games, want to get sort of a breakdown from you on what you're expecting. And I'll just run through them. The game that you're most interested in. I know you've already said that you don't expect upsets, but if there's a game where you thought it could go against what people are anticipating, I want to get that. So we've got the Dallas Cowboys at the LA Rams. We've got the Colts at the Chiefs. We've got the Los Angeles Chargers at Foxborough, the New England Patriots. And we have the Eagles at the New Orleans Saints. Now, before you give me the game that you're most intrigued by, I want to just give you the current Super Bowl odds of winning the Super Bowl. It goes Saints, Chiefs, Rams, Patriots, Chargers, Colts, Cowboys, Eagles, in that order. From
just how the Eagles like it.
Most likely to least likely. Well, I have to believe that the reason they're that far down is because they have to go to New Orleans and play the Saints. Like if there was any other matchup, that the odds wouldn't be as long against them. But they're going into the den of the lion.
Yeah, they went there week 11 and got thrashed. 48-7.
Yeah.
Beat down. Brandon Marshall, a receiver he was at New Orleans for, probably the length of our podcast. And he was saying that when they watched film and played against the Eagles, he said that was probably the worst team he has seen.
Wow.
I mean, they did whatever they wanted against the Eagles. And this would be the upset if Philly goes into that crazy dome where they don't lose and pull an upset in the playoffs. That would be a massive upset.
Now, is there any – because I've already heard some guys, the Eagles, talking smack about how – we've been waiting for this. We wanted them. They ran up the score on us. It's going to be a different story. We've been looking forward to this. It's going to be a
different story.
You're sure? But how different a story do you expect it to be?
I don't know how different it's going to be, but Sean Payton, he saw a lot of holes in that defense. Mm-hmm. Because the one thing the Bears did do, they took Allen Robinson, they matched him up on Maddox, or vice versa, and they took advantage of that rookie corner.
They did. And I'm glad you brought that up because I meant to ask you after that game what you saw from Trey Maddox and a general take on the performance. How egregious were the mistakes? He was obviously playing uber aggressive and it cost him. Do you chalk it up just to youthful indiscretion, or how do you look at that? Let's say you were his safety and you looked at how he played. What would the conversation be like after that?
Well, he was just his style is just aggressive. And I think in that case, especially in the playoffs, it comes down to all situational awareness. So when the Bears were on, I think they were on the 40 going in, we call that the fringe area for a football field. And when a team gets into that area, there is a high percentage of double moves and deep shots. That is a high percentage because obviously the throw is easier to have a long pass for a touchdown.
Sure.
And then if you're on the backside with Allen Robinson, their number one receiver, like expect action.
Right.
So when Allen Robinson ran it out, I mean, he jumped the out expecting to pick it off. Then Allen turned it right up. So that's, you could nitpick and say, hey, that's situational awareness. Like you should expect something is coming at you crazy. At worst, let him catch it underneath. Right. But don't give up a double move.
Right.
Another situation, it was the 2-minute drive. They were in 2 minute going down the field. If you're in cover 2, you want to protect the sideline and expect seven route, the corner route,
right,
by number 2. I think for the formation, I believe the slot was on the ball. If he's on the ball, he's going deep to clear it out, and then he's going to run something,
right,
a corner. So expect that. He was aggressive on the shorter route.
Right. He bit on that too.
He bit on the shorter route and was late to get into that. Once again, it's 2 minutes. Every team in the world runs seven corner routes in 2 minutes.
Right.
So once again, it's another situational awareness. Another young thing, could be because of inexperience, youth. But as you mentioned, me as a safety, I'm communicating everything. This is like huge. If you can get situational football, man, especially in 2 minute, that's everything. We had, when I was on Washington, we had Aubrey Pleasant, who's now the cornerback coach for the Rams. And he would come into the room with he had an elite 2 minute presentation broken down to the T. Like, this is what these guys do. This is what it is. Don't even look at anything else. Look at my notes. And he would present it to the whole defense. So then when 2 minute came up in the game, we all just mentally went over all of Aubrey's notes. Aubrey, I think he might be Wade Phillips' successor when he decides to take off. He's going to be a D coordinator soon. But yeah, just inexperience and lack of communication to help him out. Maybe it was communicated and he just had a brain fart. Just
reacted.
Right.
Yeah. The game that intrigues you the most?
There's 2 games. Definitely the Rams-Cowboys game. That's going to be interesting, especially the fact that when the Cowboys were not doing well, Jerry Jones said, I see a lot of similarities between our team and the Rams. And people were like, yeah, right, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're out of your mind because you guys, you don't have Sean McVay, first of all.
Right.
Like, you guys aren't doing well on offense. You guys aren't throwing the ball around like the Rams are. But he said, I see a lot of similar. I feel like we have a lot of talent. We're just not utilizing them like how we should be. But we have the guys. Right now, he's looking pretty smart right now. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be how healthy is Todd Gurley?
That's a fair question.
And then also, what I learned too this weekend. So out here training in California, Rep One Sports, the agency, they're out here and they represent Goff, Wentz, Bortles, Mariota, Ben Roethlisberger, whatever, and they also represent Cooper Kupp. And I learned that the absence of Cooper Kupp has really hurt this offense. Because basically he's another quarterback in terms of like his mindset. Like even last year as a rookie, he's able to. Sometimes he'll correct Sean McVay.
Really?
Like, hey, Sean McVay was, hey, we can do this, and Cooper's like, no, we can't do that. He's like, why? Well, this is why. He'll get guys lined up. There are times where other receivers are in the wrong spot, and he'll take over their spot and he'll run their route. Sometimes he'll make adjustments in mid-flight, and he's always in the right spot. So if Goff is under duress, he's getting rushed and getting a lot of pressure on him, he knows Cooper's going to be where he's supposed to be. And whoever's replacing him, yeah, you can put Woods in the slot, but then, he's beneficial outside too.
Right.
If you put somebody else in the slot, they're not going to be as beneficial as Cooper. Because Cooper's able to run and find the matchups. He knows which way a guy is going to lean. He's like, this defender has to go this way.
Right.
He has to. So I'm going to attack it and go the other way. So that was a huge loss for them.
I was surprised that you didn't say Chargers at Patriots.
No, that's why I said 2.
Okay.
I said there's 2, and I'm going to start with the Cowboys one. The Chargers at the Patriots is an interesting one, but I can see LA Chargers going in there and getting it done.
Yeah. No, I can too. I can't. That's what makes it interesting.
I can see them doing it. I can see them doing it easily, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
By the way, they get Hunter Henry back. How much of a difference does that make?
I don't know how healthy he is. I had an ACL. A lot of it has to do, coming back, a lot of it has to do with confidence. How confident are you going into the fire, running around? Is it really 100%, you know? And then also the health of Melvin Gordon. I think he finished the game wearing 2 knee braces. So that's interesting too. But, however, this time, it's not 2007 where Phillip had a torn ACL.
Right.
Phillip Rivers is healthy. He will get these guys prepared.
Right. And the Eagles talking about playing the Saints again. The first thing that Phillip Rivers said after the game, when they talked to him on the field, I remember 2007. He goes, I'm looking forward to going back there. That dude's been thinking about that for 11 years. He's gonna be geeked out of his mind. That was also the other thing that we didn't get to, is that as that game unfolded and it looked like the Ravens might pull off the comeback, I thought, you know what? In the history books, it's going to look like Phillip Rivers once again fell short, and it's not going to be a fair reflection of this game because he did everything. I mean, he missed one. I think he missed one open where he had a chance to throw for a TD, but for the most part, every time they needed a play, he made the play, and he had enough drops and enough guys fumbling the ball after the catch. I was thinking, if this goes the other direction on them, Phillip Rivers may wear it in history because, you know, we look back and we just compare. Like, it's a little bit like the Tony Romo situations with the Cowboys. It's not, people don't look at the details; they just look at who the quarterback was and did he win or lose. And I was thinking, if he ended up losing, it would be totally unfair because I thought Rivers did everything he needed to do to win the game, and ultimately they did. Right.
No, I 100% agree. That's why I was like, for him, I hated the way it ended for Lamar, but I'm happy the way it ended for Phillip.
Yeah. So the one game we haven't talked about, Colts at the Chiefs.
Right.
Do you now in the sober light of day, we've gotten away from Saturday and how they kind of ambushed the Texans. Do you think that the Colts, what's their best chance? That this becomes a shootout and their offense is able to roll with Kansas City? Or do you think that the Colts defense has to come up with another tremendous performance where they limit what the Chiefs do?
I think this is a case where, the Colts defense, they have to just eliminate the explosives and find a way to put pressure on Pat Mahomes. Number one, eliminate the explosives. These safeties, Mike Mitchell, Malik Hooker, all those dudes, stay back. Find number 10, you know. Also, Travis Kelce's going to be a huge part of this game. I'm not so worried about the run game. You got Darius Leonard. He's a tackling machine. He can run sideline to sideline. He's unbelievable. I'm not worried about that. But if they can eliminate the explosives, then they're going to be just fine because they can score on offense. They're going to be able to move the ball. The running game with Marlon Mack, Ebron has been going off. And then, I mean, Inman, Pascal, like those two guys, one was a CFL guy, one was a practice squad guy in Washington, Pascal was. And these guys stepped up. Then obviously T.Y. is T.Y. And you know what that tells me, though? That says a lot. When you have guys like Pascal and Inman, the way they have been playing, that says a lot, not only about the head coach, but about Andrew Luck. And I always feel like true franchise quarterbacks is not so much about, you can pay a guy and say, he got paid this much, he's a franchise quarterback. But if you elevate the level of everyone else's play,
yes,
that is everything to me.
Right.
I mean, you look at Peyton Manning. Not Peyton Manning. Tom Brady. He's never really had a star receiver.
That to me is that's what when you talk about a franchise player or a superstar in any sport. To me, that's what it is. It's not. We often look at the numbers that individual gets. What I want to know are the numbers he gets for everybody else. Right. Like guys that when you see that they play with him, the game becomes easier for them because of what that one particular guy does. We overuse superstar and franchise player. There's going to be a best player on every team, right?
Right.
It doesn't necessarily make him a franchise player, in my mind. If we're gonna or a superstar, because somebody's going to get those numbers, somebody's going to get those snaps, somebody's going to get those touches. They're going to get those opportunities. And I'm 100% with you. And I felt like that was, again, going back, and obviously the offensive line had a lot to do with it, but just the genuine confidence I felt from the receiving core that if I'm open, I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to be able to make a play.
To be.
Yeah. The ball's going to be there. I look
at that. And then I go, you can say Aaron Rodgers too. Look how many. Not only do you elevate the level of their play, but look how many receivers you have. How many plays have you gotten paid?
Yeah.
Like Brett Favre did that. Brett Favre got a lot of people paid. Aaron Rodgers got a lot of people paid. Peyton Manning got a lot of receivers paid.
Because it's New England. Tom Brady never got anybody paid.
Now guys leave to try to get a check.
But he got him paid elsewhere.
But some guys leave. Guys leave to get a check at New England.
Amendola got paid.
Something.
You can say Amendola got paid by Miami because of.
Yeah, we'll give you then.
Yeah. So that is funny. All right. Well, one last thing we have to hit before we wrap this up, and that's the last time you talked about that because I didn't want to see Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City Chiefs, that I was being a grumpy old man, that was I'm down on the youth. I'm not down on the youth. It's not that. It's that it's going to be the first time that he's on that platform. And I would much rather see the old hands and the old heads. So this is decided.
The best game this year? What was the best game you saw this year?
Well, I'm going to go to Peterson versus Nagy in terms of two guys who knew each other, who weren't intimidated by the moment. Were just about. That's what I want to see on the field. That's what I want to see in my quarterbacks.
You're going to pick that over the Chiefs Rams game?
Oh, okay. That was
Come on. You can.
That was fun. But what are the chances? What are the chances that we're going to see that?
You don't want some guy who plays extremely fearless and is just out there making like unreal throws on the money with such confidence. I mean, without him, that team goes nowhere.
This is what concerns me about the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, that it is different, and you know this.
Doesn't matter. First of all, he's the son of a professional player, a professional athlete.
Okay. Still.
He's born in it. He's seen it. He's born in it. That's why nothing bothers Steph.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Steph Curry, man, because he's been around it. He's seen everybody already.
But you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about when it comes to the Super Bowl. It's a different animal. Guys can be playoff tested.
Different is pregame. There's 8 million people on the sideline. That's the only thing different.
And no. And there's like halftime takes an hour and a half. You got to spend a week answering every question under the sun. It's
long. That's true. I get that.
It is. It's just a different animal. And I'd rather have a guy who's a little more experienced. I'd rather have a guy who's got 10 kids. You talk about having seen it all? Freaking Phillip Rivers has seen it all. Is he worried about playing in the Super Bowl? Hell no, he's got 10 kids at home. He's worried about going home.
If Phillip went to the Super Bowl, that's different. He deserves it.
Yes, and that's the other part too. I want to see Breeze versus Rivers.
Breeze Rivers, I'll give you that. I'm down for that.
Okay.
Because they're both throwing it.
Mahomes will get there. He'll see it.
See Foles Brady too? I'll see that.
Foles Brady too? No.
See that?
No.
I do.
No.
Because the Foles, once again, what the heck's going to happen in Philly?
It is. Well, now, we already know that Flacco's going someplace.
Yep.
We got to assume that Foles is going someplace.
Yeah,
he has to, right?
He has to. He's not the future.
Is there any doubt in your mind that if you have the opportunity that you're taking Foles before you take Flacco?
Yeah, I would.
Is there any place in particular? I mean, Jags probably fight over him, right?
I would send him to Jacksonville for sure. Foles.
Yeah.
I think they have the offense that fits his. They can create an offense that fits his style. They have the small receivers that are quick who can catch those slants and go. I mean, I'm sure they need a bigger receiver there too, like that. But they have an RPO like offense. They have multiple running backs like they do in Philly.
All right. You know what? Before we go, I'm going to ask you to. We're gonna do this. I didn't prepare you for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Give me a winner in each of these games.
I have New Orleans and Philly. It's not happening. Chargers go into New England and get it done.
I like the way you're thinking. Okay.
Cowboys get it done.
Ooh. I can't argue with you. I'd like to see the Rams win, but I'm not sold on Jared Goff.
Cowboys get it done because they can put all the pressure on Dak. Dak has been using his legs as he should have been because Dak is a really, really good athlete. He can run.
Yep.
And then they're going to have to account for Zeke. And then I don't know who is going to lock down Amari Cooper.
It's going to be interesting.
And then
Colts
Cowboys
Chiefs
defense playing really well. Colts Chiefs. I'm riding with the Colts.
Look at you.
Yep.
Man, that would be devastating for Andy Reid. That would be devastating for Andy Reid.
It would be.
I don't wish that for him, but I do wish it for Andrew Luck.
But if you're not, if J.J. Watt and Clowney could not get to Andrew Luck, who is? Okay. If Andrew Luck could sit there all day, because he will. I'm sorry, Justin Houston, D Ford.
It's a good point. It's a really good point. It's a really good point.
You're not touching him.
It's a really good point.
Yeah, if he's sitting there all day, Inman's going to get open.
Yeah.
Jean Pascal is going to get open.
Yeah.
Okay. T.Y., who's covering T.Y.? Good luck. Because Kendall Fuller's down, right? Yeah.
And they're probably better built to burn the clock, too. So Kansas City might have an explosive player, too, but Indy's going to wear them out.
Yeah, and you know what that does? That keeps Mahomes right on the bench.
Yep. You're singing a song that I like hearing.
I'm singing a song. So what are they again? I got the
you got the Saints?
I got Cowboys Saints for the NFC Championship game, and I got Chargers Colts. I like that.
I like that too. And
Saints with the rematch. Yes.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's good stuff. All right. That is it for today's episode of Bucher and Blackman. By the way, we've been setting records as far as the number of you listening continues to go up, and we really appreciate our ever-growing audience. Come join the band. Get on the wagon now while there's room. Don't forget to follow Will on Twitter @WillBlackman. And I mean that sincerely. Will, during games, you never know what he's going to put out there, but he's not afraid. He's going to let you know how he feels, and it's always insightful and funny. Every once in a while, there's a wow, 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 and I have no idea what it's in reference to, but I can't wait to find out. And that's the opportunity that I have on the podcast. You can follow me @Rick Bucher as well, and you can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram @BucherFriends. We gave away the Jerry Rice autographed football, but we have more swag to give. So drop us a rating and review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. Screenshot the review and tweet it to us @BucherFriends, and you'll be entered to win some of the free swag that we're handing out. So in our next podcast, I am not sure who my special guest is going to be, but I am planning to have a guest. I'm up in Portland. I was at the Knicks Blazers. I will be at the Knicks Bulls. So someone from that Bouillabaisse will be joining me for Wednesday's podcast. In the meantime, thank you for listening.